So guys, this is Discovery Africa TV, and I want to welcome everybody watching this video at this point in time. Thanks to all our esteemed followers and subscribers on this YouTube channel, Discovery Africa TV. So guys, any moment from now, we're going to be marking the second anniversary of Bola Ahmed Tinubu Asiwaju Jagaban, as many people will call him, in office as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Some month ago, he actually celebrated the first year in office, and just not quite long, we saw the preparation and what people have been saying in respect to the upcoming second year anniversary celebration of Bola Ahmed Asiwaju Tinubu as the president of the Nigerian Republic. I know if I should actually pass the mic to you and ask some questions, I know definitely you have a lot of things to say. Now at this point in time that a number of Nigerians is curious, and we have several questions in our mind that we would love to ask President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And if I were to say it this way, that if a number of you now are privileged to sit one-on-one with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, definitely you have a lot of questions to ask him. And I think one of the questions you ask Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, is, sir, you said let the poor breathe, but why are you making the poor not to breathe any longer? And secondly, you promised us renewed hope. Is this indeed renewed hope or renewed suffering? I know a number of you have a lot of questions to ask Bola Ahmed Tinubu when you are privileged to see him one-on-one and sit with him one-on-one to ask a number of questions. And these are many more are the questions ringing in the minds of other Nigerians out there that, Mr. President, this was not what you promised us some years ago when you were campaigning for your presidential election from state to state. This was not what you promised us. So guys, I know a number of preparation is actually being made from the presidency to all, Progressive Congress, all those politicians out there campaigning for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even ahead of 2027. Very surprising that we are seeing 2025 and several speculations and preparation is being made towards 2027, ensuring that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will turn back to Aso Rock. But that is not even the debate or what we're going to be discussing today. It's about the upcoming celebration and preparation for the second year in office of Bola Ahmed Asiwaju Tinubu. And let me ask you, if you were to judge this present administration without any bias attached to it, what can you really say about Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration? And what can you actually say without any bias, either in the positive or in the negative? What is that thing that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done that you think you can give him kudos for? And what is that thing you think he has done that you think he needs to adjust in this present administration? Drop it at the comment section and watch the rest of the video, guys. This is Discovery Africa TV. God bless Nigeria and God bless Africa.
Sure, always my pleasure. You see, I've almost lost my voice.
Wow. It's been hectic, isn't it?
Yeah, for 24 hours we've been on the track, ensuring that there's a rebirth of freedom. There's a rebirth of the thought processes, the procedural sets as laid down by the founding fathers. I remember, I don't know whether it was on your station or the other station, when I said the 27th of May is very critical. Mm-hmm. And I can reassure you and reassure the Nigerian public that the party is being reawoken. And we've learned some of the mistakes in the past. And we are determined that never again are we going to go through the self-manipulation of the doctrines and the procedures of our party. It's a big lesson for us. We haven't even had a NEC meeting for a very long time. And people thought we wouldn't have a NEC meeting.
This is the 99th NEC meeting.
Right. 99th NEC meeting. So
and this is very significant.
Very.
The next one in June will be the 100th.
And to be a centurion is not cheap. It means you have a pool of ideas. But the interesting part of it is that there is no organization anywhere in the world, even in the developed world, that will never have crisis. But your ability to be able to rise above the crisis will be a measure of your competence by those people who are outside and watching you.
Chief George, and I hope your 100th NEC meeting in June will not be the service of songs to the final burial rites of the PDP.
Absolutely not.
Let me give you...
Where today's meeting has reassured us and reassured Nigerians that, yesterday we started the usual NEC meeting. It's always 3 in 1. You start with the caucus, you start with the same time, you have the BOT, and then after the BOT, then you have the NEC meeting. And as people arrived, before we moved to the party secretariat, the FCT people locked it up.
Because people were owing.
They said we were
defaulters.
We were defaulters, yes. Who is not defaulting? Yeah, some people made... You see, what I have learned, the difference between a civilian organization, like a political organization, is that the turnaround is pretty high. You serve maximum 8 years, and you are gone. So the records, the keeping of those things, so many things have come out now that people were shocked. We were told we haven't paid 7 million naira. And so we defaulted in the ground rent or whatever rent. Whatever.
Tenancy and ground rent.
The painful part of it is that the minister is also from our party, the FCT, 7 million. Now, they waited until the day we are to hold our NEC meeting to shut down the... Now, as an African, I look at it as if you are back in your village, your community, and you suddenly become the local government chairman. And the first action to take was to look at your father's house, that they haven't paid their ground rents, and then you went and you locked it up.
But it wasn't only your office. Sorry. From since March this year, there have been warnings. Your party has been listed, and they have been warning that go and pay your debt. But your party has not moved to do that.
See, no matter
could your party be an exception? That is unlawful for you to
do. If it
default.
had been a man, my son, political son, I call him my political son, and he's still my political son.
You mean the
FCT minister? He was on his first political outing, elected on the platform of this party as a local government chairman in Rivers. Later, he became chief of staff to an elected governor of this party. Then, President Jonathan appointed him as a Minister of State of Education on our party. Then became a governor for 8 years on the platform of this party. Talking as an African, I said, culturally, that's why I said, look, let's look at it as if it's his father's house, who trained him, where he grew up, where he went to school, and became a public personality. Now, what do you do to pay back that family? What is 7 million?
You think Minister Wike should have paid on behalf of the PDP?
No, I'm saying at the very worst. Because look at all the appointments he has held with the party.
He has benefited from the PDP.
Massively.
So he should have come through for the PDP.
He should have just said to them, okay, 7 million I pay from my pocket, take the receipt back to the party secretariat and say, you see how you people are foolish. I am completely committed to this house. I am completely loyal to this house. I will not decimate it. This is the receipt. Give me back my money. That is what you call a true son of that family. I was shell-shocked. And I can tell you, publicly now, whatever building that the APC is holding in Abuja, if you go to that house, you will find out that they are owing millions and millions. So why select? Okay, you now went to
FRS, NAPTIP, Access Bank offices.
The gracious part of it, because the president is smart enough to realize that this could be a political suicide in future. Like I said, let's assuage it to make you going back to your village. You become the local government chairman, and you are now talking about the lack of payment by your family to the local government council. Would you do that?
So you are disappointed?
Very.
If you saw Mr. Wike today, what would you be telling him?
I would have told him what. Yes, you know, we learn every human being make mistakes. Every human being. The only being that doesn't make mistakes is the Almighty God and His Son, Jesus Christ. And I want to remind you what General Powell, the first black man to head the Joint Chief of Staff in America. You know what he said about mistakes? He said, look, a mistake remains a mistake if you don't learn from it. I will tell you that you made a flip. You should have paid it to confirm to them that you are a genuine son of the family, you are committed, you are loyal, you are appreciative.
So you see this as disloyalty?
Absolutely.
You see it as betrayal of your party?
Absolutely.
But you shouldn't have. You don't see your party as a bit irresponsible and not rising up to the bidding in paying what is due to government. Because your party has committed an unlawful act, breach your agreement with the state because it is enshrined in the law. Your party has defaulted.
Look, like I said, they made a mistake. They made a mistake.
The party?
Yeah.
Is that a mistake?
It is a mistake.
But there's been a warning since March. We knew that the FCT was going to shut down and seal buildings in Abuja since the weekend. Couldn't that your party grown to make amends since March?
You know, when you are running a political organization, it's not like yours here. You know, you have the good, the bad, the ugly, and all sorts of characters are there. And people are bound to make mistakes. Now, they have found out, you'll be shocked, that I haven't paid even for that building. We bought it from somebody way back to tidy up the various documents. They just started refixing.
Can Nigerians trust a party that is owing 7 million ground rent? And you say you want to
say Nigeria. The other political, is there any other political party like PDP in this country? You want me to explain to you?
In terms of the loss at elections?
In terms of, not loss at
You've
election.
lost back to back. Chief Judge, 2015, 2019, 2023.
We are yet in this nation, and I can say it openly, that what we have as an electoral process is a complete charade. That is no process. I am a computer engineer by profession. You don't tell me that on the D-Day, when your computer should be working seamlessly, you talk about a glitch. And you know, the company that manufactured the computer said, no, there was no glitch. We were looking at, we were watching you online. You switched off the system. Let me tell you this. As a naval officer, I'm a weapons systems engineer. You are on board your ship. You are at war. Another ship fired a missile towards your ship. Your computer, your radar will pick it up. The computer, in microseconds, will calculate the speed at which it's coming and the time it could land on your vessel to attack you. In microseconds, the result will be ready and assign a weapon to counter. Now tell me, the kind of system they are talking about, a computer that has only one channel and has a glitch at that point.
So you don't trust INEC?
Look, it is the procedure. They are yet the same system.
So you imagine that was a human manipulation?
No,
they
stated it, the company.
You don't think your brother, Bola Tinubu, won the election free and square?
Of course not. The results was announced in the middle of the night, and we said no.
What about all of the governors of the PDP who won there? Are those two rigged?
I said the whole system needs to be redefined.
So all of the PDP governors were rigged into office? Is that what you're
Look at what happened in Ghana. Look at what happened in Ghana recently. The same system we are using here, they use in Accra, in Ghana. And what happened? But by 3/4 of the electoral process, the president in government, his party lost, and he said, we agreed we lost because the system
considered.
Yeah,
but
considered
it
is not.
It is not your party losing now.
It is
so
not
your party did not lose in 2015.
No.
The party did not lose in 2019.
The electoral process has to be improved. Now, what they tell you, look at the election in Edo State. Was that an election? What happened?
What about the one in Ondo?
The one in Ondo, the same. These
so
people,
you don't agree with any of the results in the past?
We are yet to respect the technology that President Buhari spent so much money.
What happened in 2023, sir, as far as the election is concerned?
I said the electoral process
where
is
Peter Obi won in Lagos?
Oh. Look, when they first brought it, they had a test run in Anambra. We were told that it was seamless. By the time they got to the D-Day, the real election time, the beavers could not take all the servers, because your results from the polling station were to be transferred automatically to the mainstream. You remember they announced that now this thing had a glitch, therefore you should reverse back to the old system. Reverse back to the manual system. So what do you get? Garbage in, garbage out.
Let me ask you.
It is distasteful.
Are you grateful to Bola Tinubu for reversing the ceiling of your office?
The ceiling of our office?
Yes.
Reversing it?
Because of your failure, inability to pay
You say we should reverse back to him. Who started it all? What does it take? Remember what the FIRS said, that they had made payment, they had written to them, nobody replied them, nobody came to them, and that they had locked down their office in error. So if these are the kind of, I'm saying, for a political colossus as the PDP owing 7 million naira, where this man can be, he himself, having been a major beneficiary of the laurels of that party, should have been in a position to say, okay, I'll pay it. Now, shame on you people. Why have you not done it? I have done it because I am a committed, I am a loyal member and dedicated member of this party. That's all you expect from a man who is bold enough, committed enough, not playing some kind of a dirty game. And the president himself knew this would be a political issue in the future. And he has said, look, within 14 days, everybody go and tidy it up. Like I said, we discussed today. We found out that since year 1998 or 1999, year 2000, we bought that building. The records of change of ownership, change of this, and because being a political party, the turnover of human beings, you can't be there perpetually. Who has been in the record keeping? And the board of trustees is the source, the conscience of the party. They also hold the liabilities and the assets of the party. Now, how many times have we have changes of the chairman, board of trustees? But we've learned a lesson now, because, hey, political development, human development is not a 100-meter dash race.
Chief George, let me ask you, and the reason why I asked that question earlier about if the June NEC meeting would not be a service of song to the final burial rights of the PDP. My guest yesterday, sitting right in the chair you were sitting, this is what he says, and I'm going to quote him. And there's a well-respected analyst who says, the PDP is a dying party.
Right here.
You see, the Bible says the wages of sin is death. So the PDP is dying because it committed a mortal sin in 2023, and I cannot say this enough. I don't see PDP surviving as a party beyond 2027 because, you see, when Atiku happened to the PDP, it developed a Nyesom Wike problem. And he went further to explain that the zoning of your party not yielding to a national consensus or arrangement, unwritten arrangement, that power should return to the South was a sin of your party. And except your party repent from it, your party is going to die evidently. And that's why I asked if that 100th NEC meeting was not going to be the service of some to find out better rights.
We have already done the resurrection today. The
so
party is
Easter for your party.
The party
rose
has
from the
been
dead.
From not the dead. An Iroko tree just doesn't die. This party is an Iroko tree. In any forest, you go to the Middle East, the oak tree just doesn't die like that. Because the taproot is so deep. And so there was a beleaguered attitude, of people who believe that self-centeredness, manipulation of the processes laid down by the founding fathers through certain process now blew up on our faces. And I'm telling you that we have learned a lesson. And that lesson was the beginning of the meeting yesterday and today. I can tell you what it reminded me of was the peak and the level of the peak of our existence as a political party. I left that chambers feeling reinvigorated. I left the chambers feeling, at my age, on the 8th floor of life, looking back, I can't vie for any more positions. But we want to make sure that we stop dancing on the graves of these old men, that the way they saw Nigeria was planted in the PDP.
So the PDP NEC meeting today
is
a consciousness, a realization of the failures
and things that we had
done.
Was
Atiku Abubakar at that meeting?
No, he wasn't there. He doesn't have to be there, but the meeting went on. You see, this party is not a party for any individual. No individual can claim ownership of this party. It's a collective responsibility. And you see, gradually, people started manipulating. And I want to quote the chairman of the Board of Trustees, his statement, quote his statement. I mean, just the speech he made. He said, we must perpetually build on selfless leaders. We must have more selfless leaders and less selfish leaders. That was resonating.
Adolfo Swabara.
Yeah, that was what he said today. And, you know, doesn't that answer the way you are thinking? And I call that an imbecility by saying, oh, you are dead. That's their wish. There's no organization, like I said to you, that will not have crisis. You can disagree, but you must never be disagreeable. And that is why I said that the meeting yesterday and today gave me an insight. They can call my flight anytime now, you know, once we are over 70. Now I'm on the 8th floor. If they call my flight, yeah, you can call my flight anytime.
So yeah, you don't look like someone who is ready to go. Yeah.
You never know what
your
time.
Your boarding pass still. I'm not sure you don't have it.
The boarding pass.
No, you are not going.
The boarding pass is already with you. You don't only know when they will call your flight. When you call your flight.
But Judge, stay with us. Stay with me on the program. Agreed on, and the things you were not able to agree on.
No, I agreed entirely with everything.
For example, I'm saying that. The outcome, what did the party agree on today? Okay. What are the positions that the party agree on today? Because usually all of the agenda have been ratified by caucus. They just take it to NEC and present it and discuss them.
You know, when you get to caucus, you have just select elders. You know, people with experiences. I represent Southwest at that caucus. And so people like that. I have been in the party since 1998. I was one of those, the first elected to one of the party managers since 1999. And I spent 10 years there. So in terms of knowledge, in terms of those who are the quality of people who are members of caucus. So you expect that their input is not self-inflicted or self-consciousness to be able to control A or B. All you want to do is to make sure that the young men who are taking over from you will not drown the ship. Okay? So for our meeting, I said it was seamless. It reminded me of the good old days when the PDP was at the peak. It's been rejuvenated, rekindled, and we are preparing assiduously for the National Convention in August. Then the various committees, the zonal committees, you approve that there will be a zonal committee. And then, of course, the managers of the convention have already been approved. And so what you look at is like it's a midterm convention. Okay. Not really elective per se, but this will be to elect or...
but the tenure of this NWC ends in November, December.
That's what I'm saying, that it is... midterm, 4 years, midterm convention. The full-time convention will carry the party positions and the elective positions.
But Damagum and the rest will have to exit by November, December, isn't it? Are you extending the...
No. It depends on, you know, once the zoning for now would mean it's not a matter of north and south. For zoning, because it's a midterm. Zoning will mean the rotation. You know, like Damagun is from Northeast, he's the deputy chairman North. You have some others who are the youth leader, who is also from the North, the national organizing secretary, who is also from the North West.
So they swap.
If they want,
the
positions
swapped,
can be swapped within the zones in the north. Same like we have in the south.
But Chief Judge, today you were not able to agree on reach a consensus or decide on the Ude Okoye or Samaya.
Now it's not that we didn't want to. There were still issues. You know, some committee is still meeting, finding out the facts, how we could resolve that. But quite candidly, we looked at it. What effect would that have on the day-to-day running of the party? Just one person versus the whole zone. You know, the zone is now telling you, no, we had already met. We don't want this Okoye again. But the matter cannot stop at the zone. You know, Okoye, as a member of the working committee, as a member of NEC, can only be removed by NEC. You understand? So it will take some time. People are still trying to see how we can resolve it in-house without going out.
So we'll convene the meeting today, the NEC meeting.
The NEC, once the chairman is seated.
Who convened it?
The chairman.
The chairman chaired it.
The chairman.
But the convener is usually the national secretary.
It doesn't have to be him. You know, all these.
That is the rule, sir.
That's what they call those rules. There have been times, emergency meetings are needed. Oh, they said yes. The acting secretary, the deputy secretary of the party.
In the face of the law, does this 99th NEC, does it have any validity in the eye of the law?
Of course.
When there is no national secretary. So Samaya was not there, Ude Okoye was not there.
He said Ude Okoye was there.
But Samaya
he wasn't
acting.
He came as a former youth leader.
Yeah.
Okoye was there.
But Samaya
he wasn't
acting.
He came as a former youth leader.
Yeah.
Now the deputy secretary, the deputy national secretary, is acting. In his absence, he takes over the responsibility of that.
Let me ask you, sir.
Because
you mentioned, sir, earlier that your party has learned its lessons.
Yes.
What are the lessons you learned today?
The lessons we learned: one, this issue of self-conceitedness, that you personalize this party. We are not APC.
What's the difference between both of you?
APC.
The both association are the same thing.
No. The APC is owned by one individual, and he told everybody.
Who is that?
That the president. He said, "I own."
President Bola Tinubu.
I want to challenge you, challenge them through you. Have you heard in the last 2 years, or even before General Buhari left, that the APC had a national convention where national officers were elected? When was the last time they did that?
There was a convention where this set of NWC emerged.
Which one? Do you know how my brother Ganduje became chairman? He was handpicked by President Bola Tinubu. Where was he elected? Where was the national secretary elected? When was the last time you heard that the NWC met or they had planned a national convention?
That may not be right, Chief Judge, because we have reporters covering them.
I have said it to you. They had some meetings recently of leaders convention, leaders summit. That's what they had. They hadn't had any national convention.
But with what is going on, Chief Judge, let me ask you, and honestly speaking, there are those who will say, oh, it seems you have an eternal opposition against Bola Tinubu, who is supposed to be your very good brother. You are from the same state. And there are those who even say maybe Bode George is going to go to the APC. Is that a possibility?
As long as I live. You know, I come from Macaulay. My great-grandmother was their sister. All right? He was the first Nigerian politician in this country. in 1922, he established the first political party. Papa served and spent all his years trying to unite the North and the South. It was in the course of that he caught pneumonia in 1946 and he died. The only politician around at that time was Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, whom he adopted as his son. Papa was never interested in whether you are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, whatever.
So you're going to be like Abba Macaulay, who stood in one political party, and you're going to be like your friend Bola Tinubu too, who has been in one political party.
No, he hasn't.
You have similarity. You and Bola Tinubu, isn't it?
How?
He's never crossed to any other political party.
Oh, they started with what?
No, but they were.
They started with
the party
AD.
Morphed. AD, AC, ACN, APC. It morphed. But
you called it morphed.
Morphed. He morphed. He gravitated into something else.
He can gravitate.
It didn't exist. Those parties don't exist any longer.
Now, what has happened? You use the word morphed. I'm telling you, recently, since you are a journalist, recently he said it unequivocally that I own the party. Go to those people who are so angry, who are contesting, those aspirants. Did they go to any primaries for any candidate to emerge?
You seem to have
in Lagos.
You seem to be an eternal opposition against him.
No.
Do you have a personal grievance against him?
For what?
Will you be able to work with him coming from the same state for the interest of Nigeria?
Work with him in terms of what?
As an elder, as a leader in the country?
No, every time I look at certain policies and I approach looking in depth about that policy and I find some things that are not right, it is within my right because I will tell the truth to power. That's what I do.
So you can never join Bola Tinubu in the APC. You will die a PDP member.
What am I looking for? Like they say in Yoruba language, Uwa lomode, o fakoyo, uwa nigripa, o dabira, uwa dogbo nkongi, unsheju paku paku bi akonka, shigba ela rota rugbo sunkomo. What am I looking for now? Except to make sure that this nation sits well. There is hunger in the land. There is anger in the land. The younger generation are very, very extremely unhappy.
Chief George, we need to anchor.
Right.
And where I would like us to anchor is on the front that there are coalition, people coalescing, people talking. And maybe just in less than 60 seconds, if you can help me. There are those who will say the way opposition is not organizing itself, Bola Tinubu is on the fast lane of getting a re-election, although he's in the second year of a 4-year term. But by the way and manner opposition, and some of you are behaving in the opposition, you are giving a Bola Tinubu and the APC a smooth ride. What is your view? Just in 60 seconds so that we can close.
You know, when I see this charade going on in this country, I have told you earlier that there is a need to revisit the electoral process in this country. All right? If we don't, we are just beating about the bush. We take one step ahead and make 10 steps back. Has this country grown? Where is that giant of Africa? Where is that giant of Africa? Even the constitution we are using is heavily defective.
Yeah.
Because it is like a military organization. You center power in one position.
Unitarily.
Is it working? Devolution of power to the states. Remove the control of local governments from the federation account.
Chief George, we need to go. We're totally out of time. Yeah. So people who say Bola Tinubu will win in 2027.
No, it is the people. Those who are now talking the Lajis. Let us allow Nigerians to exercise genuine,
correct rights.
You will ask them, the fellow who hasn't had a job for years, for 4 years, the younger generations who have just graduated, there's no hope, no future, nothing. And it is spreading. In the north today, it is spreading like a cancer.
Chief Judge.
So I will say, let the will of the people prevail.
Thank you so much.